It's time to enter the world of real estate in Oahu with Hawaii's only true real estate radio show, the Team Lally Real Estate Show. Grab a pen and get ready to take notes. For the next full hour, Hawaii's premier real estate leader, Adrian Lally and Attilio Leonardi, will bring you the latest in real estate news and real-world strategies on how they can guarantee to sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, or they'll buy it. Now here's your host, Adrian and Attilio.
Welcome to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program. We'll buy it. If you have any questions, just give us a call at 799-995-96 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
Well, hey, everybody, this is Attilio. Hey, Adrian, can you hear me?
I can.
Because I can. We're going to keep going because we're professionals. So I want to talk to you guys about Pokemon Go. And what I know about Pokemon Go. You know what I know about Pokemon Go? It's a pretty fun game, mm-hmm. But it's a way to meet your kids where they're at. So my kids love to play it. I played it in the beginning with them way back when it first came out, and kind of just deleted the app off my phone. That's my favorite thing to do, by the way, is deleting apps off my phone. And so they recently just started getting back into it. So I decided to reload it onto my phone. Luckily, I still had all my previous playing stuff or whatever, equity on there. Equity, that's like a real estate term that I'm utilizing for Pokemon Go. So I'm level 26 for you Pokemon Go people. And here's the thing that I like about, I don't like utilizing video games to connect or, things that create sedentary behavior. But Adrian, what's good about Pokemon Go?
That it encourages movement.
You got to move around.
You get rewarded for moving.
It's not a sit and get fluffy on the couch video game. This is you got to move around to the different Pokemon stops, to the gyms and the battles, and it's engaging enough. But my main thing is it's incorporating walking around. Mm-hmm. There's like eggs in there, and the only way you can hatch the eggs is if you walk. And some of these minimum are 0.5 kilometers. Some are as much as 3 kilometers. You even get rewards. So this is kind of like gamifying steps. Mm-hmm. What do we know about steps? What's the goal? Actually, what should be people's new? This is that time of the year when people start blowing off their New Year's resolutions. It's our responsibility to remind people what should be your goal. If you want to lose weight, how many steps per day?
I would say to lose weight is about 10,000, and then just to maintain at 5,000.
Yeah. But you know what? I would challenge you all to have a goal of trying to get in 10,000 steps. I know it's a lot. We're working and this and that and all of that, but probably just if you don't have a desk job and you're just walking around an office, probably you'll do 2,000 steps.
And even if you do have a desk job, there are ways you can have your stand-up desk. Yeah. One of our team members has a little stepper thing that she does while she's working.
You can do this for the kids. Get a treadmill, and then it generates electricity for their devices or maintains the Wi-Fi connection. So as soon as they stop on the treadmill, no Wi-Fi connection. That would be complete horrors for the kids. Mm-hmm. So speaking of someone that stays in shape, I guarantee she probably gets her 10,000 steps in. Who is it?
Or more. We've got Jody, the mortgage genius, on the line with her tip of the week.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Okay, so we've been talking about this, and it has been pushed off multiple times, I would say, over the past 6 to 9 months. And we are here. We're at the beginning of the interest rates increasing. And it's happened. It happened. Rates have gone up. And I just want to emphasize or share with our buyers that waiting is just not something that's going to make sense. A lot of buyers that I'm talking to want to wait for the market to slow down. They're like, the market is so hot. I'm just going to let it cool off, and then I'll come check it out again in, 6 months to a year. And so I just want to emphasize that as these rates are increasing, your purchasing power is decreasing. So
Jody,
we just want to make sure.
Could you maybe give an example? I've seen some examples online of showing all right, this home right now is $800,000 and, at this interest rate versus, it jumps up 0.5%, and maybe the price goes down by 50 grand, like how much of a difference in payment? From what I'm seeing is it's still more expensive on a monthly basis versus the overall purchase price.
Yeah. I mean, I think that for the most part, having 0.5% increase in the interest rate, we're going to be looking at somewhere between 75 to 100,000 on price point.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So, what we always tell our clients is that, you're stuck with the monthly payments on, your home. So if people are waiting for prices to come down, that is maybe there's a flaw in their thinking is what I'm hearing.
There is a big flaw in their thinking. And I just want to empower everyone to not be scared, to go get the numbers, get it on paper, see what your monthly payment that you can budget, what type of property that can get you. And my favorite analogy is always Attilio's, which is the two best times to purchase are
right now.
Attilio.
Yes. Attilio is having some technical difficulties, but he always says right now and 20 years ago. So just do it now.
Yep. And I think most people really understand when we give them that example, because they're like, I get it. Like it makes perfect sense. And so let's just know the numbers and act accordingly.
So this is something that you guys do when you're doing that initial application or that first conversation, is you're educating buyers on, this line of thinking like, oh, I'm just going to wait till the home prices kind of settle down, or maybe like,
We didn't bite anybody's ear off, though.
All right. Well, thank you, Jody. Excellent topic and tip.
Yeah.
All right. So you can get a hold of Jody and her team by giving a call to 488-5510. She's also under the resource tab on teamlally.com on Experts We Trust.
All right. Who's next?
You are.
I'm next. Okay. So getting back to the Pokemon Go, a lot of times, for having, as our kids grow up, when they're young, mommy and daddy is the whole world. In fact, their whole perception of adults is that everybody's a mommy and a daddy, because when they're little kids and when they first start speaking, they're like, oh, what is that mommy doing over there? What is that daddy doing over there? That's their whole world. But as they grow older, Adrian, do they want to spend more time with you or less?
Less.
Yeah, because there's a competition for the attention of our children. What's the competition?
Well, friends. And then also they're technology.
Pokemon Go. So there's parents. Pokemon Go is what I highly recommend. My 21-year-old, my 14-year-old, and even my 24-year-old and his wife, all of them. You can I'm interacting with them even long distance because we send each other gifts through the system.
Do you have stock in this Pokemon Go?
I should.
You should, with how excited you are.
Well,
about it.
and here's something from the adult side of it. Kind of Big Brother-ish. But NAN Incorporated is the company that owns Pokemon Go. And my understanding is that Google owns NAN. So it's actually, they're utilizing us all walking around like crazy chickens playing Pokemon, or like crazy Pikachus. You can even, if you go to a gym, and for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. You get download it and go play. Even if you don't have kids, I think it's a great game to play that gets you to go. It's one of the number one tips on my website for losing weight. And by the way, my website is getofyourbuttandosomething.com.
So it will help you get those 10,000 steps that we talked about in the beginning of the show.
And,
right?
I learned this from a coach. When you're doing exercise, you're more likely to stick with it if you enjoy it.
That's right. So I wanted to share some of our recent reviews.
Yeah, go ahead. And what, these reviews are on what?
On Google.
And are they like BS reviews, like bogus reviews, or like what stops these from being not, what's the prevention to make sure and validate that these are legitimate? Yeah,
Google.
Talk about what Google does.
Yeah, they're screening and making sure these people are real people, and that, we actually help them do some kind of a real estate.
They have all
transaction.
It's us against 1,000 software engineers, then it'll drop off if it's not legit. But go ahead, read one of these legitimate reviews.
Yeah, this one is from Jemmy Dennis from our listing agent, Benji.
Yeah.
So this realty team is tops. My realtor, Benji, helped me sell my house for more than what I was asking. He kept me informed every step of the way and even called me twice a week to recap what happened so far and what to expect next. Yeah. Completely painless transaction. I highly recommend Team Lally.
All right. So speaking of the...
of a high recommendation.
I'm going to say yes. He is the Karate Kid of the investment world, but he's not part of the Cobra Kai dojo. But I think they combined. Didn't they combine?
So which dojo would he be part of?
Well, I think they got together because I was watching the Netflix previews, and Kyle, didn't the Karate Kid and his nemesis, they like combine efforts for
a short time?
Yeah. In season 3, they combined forces and they trained each other to have Cobra Kai. So I think the more of the story is sometimes sometimes all the knowledge together to be able to offer the best training and information to the individual is basically the message of that story.
So, and focus, focus. That's the important thing. And I was talking about it, do you have iPhone or you got Android?
I have an Android.
Android. Okay. So I'll just real quick iPhone stuff. On the upgrade, there was a setting that if you're like doing something and you don't want your phone going off and being a rude digital instrument, you could put it on Do Not Disturb. With the latest update, they changed the name of that setting to what, Adrian?
Focus. Literally
just the word focus. Then you go in there and there's all kind of new things that you can do. But talk about your guys' focus with the DST, the 1031s into the DST. As far as a financial advisors here in the state of Hawaii, what percentage of your guys' business is with the DSTs?
Well, I'd say in terms of volume, probably 40 to 50%.
So a huge chunk.
Each advisor is a little different. And I think kind of the progression was, as we're doing financial planning for our clients and helping them look at the big picture, the biggest part of their overall wealth is their real estate.
Yeah.
And as a result, we started to look at options for when clients wanted to, retire and maybe pass down their legacy to the next generation. And we came across the Delaware Statutory Trust, and over the past 10 years have become experts in it.
So you can sell an investment property, do a 1031 to defer the capital gains, and you can take those proceeds and invest it into a DST Delaware Statutory Trust, what are we looking at? I'm walking around the United States playing Pokemon Go, and I'm looking at the tangible evidence of a DST, and what would I be looking at?
You might be standing in front of a Walmart or a Amazon distribution center or a 7-Eleven, maybe a self-storage, a
chain of grocery stores.
All the above. Usually large projects or warehouses or buildings, anywhere from 50 million to 500 million.
So I wanted to share that I personally got a DST in a storage facility, and most recently.
Do you even know where the storage facility is?
No, I don't.
Who cares, right?
I don't really care.
The money hits your account. That's all you care about.
That is what I care about, and that Kyle helped me to review the statement that I got, showing the kind of return that I'm getting, plus
and do share.
Yes, plus the equity that has gained. So 5.5% cap rate, and
translate that into English, because that sounds like a mafia term. I'm going to cap somebody.
And then a 12% equity gain. So so Kyle, share with our listeners on my particular investment that I went and did the DST. Share with them about what does that mean?
We'll start off with what's the cap rate?
Tremendous. Yeah. So the net cap rate is the amount after all the expenses, right? Mm-hmm. So you've got your gross income, right? So from your tenant, and then you minus out the cost of the mortgage or the interest on the mortgage, the taxes, insurance, maintenance, upgrades, management fee, and what's left over. That's your net capitalization rate. So, in Hawaii, if you're making a positive rate, 1%, 2%, that's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Other states may be a lot higher. So, Adrian with a 5.5% cap rate. And then just to be clear, that those are hard to find nowadays. I'd say the average is more around 3.5 to 4.5. Okay. Mm-hmm. So Adrian got in at a really good time.
So basically when you're looking at real estate investments, there's two factors you're looking at. What's your monthly income? Mm-hmm. And how is that piece of real estate improving,
growing
in value?
Yes.
Year over year.
Appreciation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Appreciation, or your equity, or your appreciation. So if we invest in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, we make X amount of dollars per month. It grows in value every year.
Or if you're here in Hawaii, it could be a negative. You could be a negative cash flow, but the equity of the property is continuing to grow. So it's.
But we're thinking about Duke is thinking about with Hawaii Pacific Property Management giving Tylenol to our property owners because there's headaches.
Yes. Yep.
There's headaches. Yep. What are the headaches with owning real estate directly versus a DS, and what are the headaches that don't exist with a DST? Real quick before we let you go.
Yeah, we like to call some of them the terrible T's. Yeah. Handling the tenants, the toilets, the trash, the PROs, or the torching. Yeah, I've had, unfortunately, I know a few people personally where their properties got torched, burnt down, after they attempted to evict the tenant. So, so usually it's the calls, the late at night, so the telephone calls, so those are all the T's. I
will say, I'm going to add a teenager. It's not like you're going to be dealing with teenagers, but it's going to feel like you're dealing with teenagers by owning property directly. And by the way,
none of that.
None of that.
What's that game where you got to draw the picture and people got to guess what it is?
Pictionary.
Yeah, that is like one of the hardest words in Pictionary. I'm telling you right now, it's teenager.
It's also, I feel like, the hardest age range to parent.
Yeah, it's hard all the way around. So that's why I'm saying
looking forward to that.
Owning,
I got 10 years.
Owning real estate property is like teenagers. Mm-hmm. It's a pain in the butt.
Well, thank you, Kyle, for always informing us and giving us great information on the DST.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right.
So you can find out more about the DST. We actually have a link on our website that explains it in more detail. And you can even sign up for a time to connect with Kyle. So go to teamlallydst.com and find out more. So next up, we have our Big Island report from Dan Palomino.
Hey, Dan.
Hey guys, how are you?
Oh,
Happy New Year.
Great.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Ha'ole makahiki ho. What'd you call my mama? No, that's Hawaiian for Happy New Year.
I was listening to your discussion with Duke, and everybody, listen, the talk of each town in real estate is this remarkable appreciation. Wherever you go, I'm out to dinner with friends, we're having coffee, everybody's talking about this remarkable appreciation from 2021.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people forget that there is a real downside to the remarkable appreciation, and the downside is in the form of what we call increased tax assessment. And the reason why I bring this up now is because tax season is now upon us, and guess what the counties are doing? The counties are sending out their new tax assessments for 2022.
Yeah.
So the property taxes are going up.
Yep.
Is the news.
And that's the news. And with increased home value comes increased assessments. And some people are going to get a tax bill in the mail, and they're going to notice that in some cases that their assessment may have even doubled, right? I mean, when you look at appreciation across the state, you're looking at anywhere from 17% to 45% in some cases and in some neighborhoods.
Yeah,
so
Dan, I was
shocked.
I was on the line I think it was yesterday with an agent that was from Midwest and Topeka, and even though the prices are super low, I was shocked at the amount of their property taxes. And even with these raises in property taxes because of our values, we are extremely fortunate with our low property
compared
taxes
to the mainland.
Yeah, I was just.
But they're going up.
Yeah, but they are going up because our values are going up.
Yeah.
Right, and then once you hit a certain threshold, they are higher than normal.
Yeah.
But you were saying the one piece the bad news. The second piece of bad news is that the Hawaii legislature has opened up the new session of legislation for 2022, and along with that comes all kinds of discussion about more tax.
Oh.
And one of the taxes that they're discussing is taxing people who own second homes if they're vacant.
Oh.
And I don't know how this is all going to play out, or what their criteria is going to be, or who's going to be the vacant home police.
Yes.
But I am watching this closely to see how this is going to play out. And so with this news of increased taxes on assessment and potentially new taxes coming in the legislative session, this is the time of year where we start getting phone calls from homeowners who say, I'm not using that home as much as I thought I was going to use it. So maybe this would be an opportunity for me to sell, cash out, and realize some of this appreciation.
Well, the other thing to keep in mind, too, we heard this from Jody, our Pacific Mortgage, April 1st. It's not an April Fool's joke, because I know that's my birthday, is that the lending criteria is they're going to be adding anywhere between 1 and 3 points.
Plus more percentage for the loans.
On financing of second homes. And this is nationwide.
And I think I think some lenders may even be starting it sooner.
Yeah.
So
3 points. Holy moly.
So the second home ownership.
That's 30 grand on $1 million.
Yeah, between like the loans and the taxes, it's becoming more and more expensive to have a second home.
Yeah.
So
sell now.
So
sell now. We need the inventory.
We're obviously taking those phone calls and having discussions about what it would look like to sell, and how do we get in and get out of this with making the money on that appreciation and trying to keep the taxes at a minimum. And so these are the discussions that we're having on with our clients right now. And then one last thing I want to mention, which is a shout out to Keller Williams and our company's luxury division, which, by the way, is the largest luxury sales force in the world. But their numbers came out for 2021, and basically Keller Williams luxury agents like you and Attilio and myself and others across the state and across the country helped clients buy and sell 58,000 homes in 2021 for a total of $98 billion in sales volume. So just absolutely remarkable numbers, which once again reinforces the fact that Keller Williams is by far the world's largest luxury sales force in the world.
Yeah.
So there was also another figure that basically 1 in every 4 homes was sold by a Keller Williams agent, whether it was luxury or not.
Yeah.
So we're out there, we're moving the inventory and making things happen.
Another shout out was to our founder and past CEO, Gary Keller. He was nominated or voted or selected as most influential individual in the real estate industry. So he's literally the Stephen Jobs of our industry.
That's right. All sorts of great things happening with Keller Williams.
Yeah. He is the Mr. Miyagi of our industry. And we're going to change all our market centers to Cobra Kai dojos. No.
That's correct.
Well, thanks, Dan.
Yes. Thank you, Dan.
You bet, guys. Talk to you next week.
All right. So that was Dan Palomino. He's over with Keller Williams on the Big Island. And if you want to get a hold of any of our agents on neighbor islands, we have some excellent resources. So
here's the number for the neighbor islands. It's 799-9596. That's the number to call.
That's the rate.
And
all right. So I think it's time for a break.
Yeah.
But stay with us. When we come back, we'll be talking with Janyce Myrland of DreamHouse Drafting. We'll talk about all the things you should consider when designing, building, or maintaining your home here in Hawaii.
So stay with us.
Hey, it's Dina Hollyfield with the Royal Ride on Country 97.5. And I know the stress of selling a home can keep you up at night. Well, my friends Beth and George used to tell me all about their sleepless nights, and they spent worrying about selling their Waianae home and the possibility of paying for a vacant property if they didn't sell it quickly enough. Well, of course, I recommended Team Lally. Adrian and Attilio's team got right to work to list the home using 25 professionally edited photos, a walking video tour, and a 3D interactive video tour, selling the property in only 1 week. So if you're in the market to sell your home, rest easy by calling my friends Adrian, Lally, and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally Real Estate Group of Keller Williams, Honolulu. Call 808-799-9596. That's 808-799-9596, or schedule an appointment online at teamlally.com and tell them Dita sent you.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. To sell your home on time for the most money, you need a sharp agent with a marketing strategy that creates the most demand. Bottom line, you need a partner willing to put their own money on the line for you. In Hawaii, I would hire Adrian, Lally, and Attilio Leonardi. Their marketing strategy is so effective that if your home doesn't sell on terms you agree to, Team Lally will buy it. Partner with the team I trust. Go online or call and get your home sold.
Hello, Hawaii. It's Colin Coward. Things may have changed in the sports world, but the games must go on. Look, I invest in real estate all over America, and right now, with the ultra-low interest rates everywhere, if you're serious about selling your home, you need to talk to my friends Adrian, Lally, and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally, Real Estate Group of Keller Williams, Honolulu. Team Lally's incredible marketing with 3D tours and its huge database of buyers has continued to sell homes quickly with multiple offers over the asking price. Adrian and Attilio continue to spend tens of thousands per month on marketing to attract hundreds of buyers every month using a unique app that communicates daily with over 3 million luxury home buyers around the United States. Adrian and Attilio guarantee to sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, or they'll buy it themselves. Give Adrian and Attilio a call at 799-9596 or online at teamlally.com. That's teamlally.com. And start packing.
Hey, Buck, as a real estate investor, if you were going to buy or sell property in Hawaii, what's the first thing you do?
That's an easy call. Call Adrian Lally and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally Real Estate Group of Keller Williams, Honolulu. They've always guaranteed to sell your home or they will buy it. I love that.
You aren't alone. Sean Hannity, Colin Cowherd, Scotty B, and Barbara Corcoran from Shark Tank all agree with us. Team Lally are the and get the best advice from Team Lally.
Hey, it's Sean Hannity here, and I know the business climate has changed dramatically, but if you need to sell your home, don't believe the myth that homes aren't selling. Joining me now is a true expert at selling homes, Adrian Lally and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally Real Estate Group of Keller Williams, Honolulu. So what's your advice on selling a home right now?
Sean, our real estate team has always been on the cutting edge with technology. We're using FaceTime for showing homes with buyers and keeping our buyers and sellers safe with the virtual showing at any time and any place. We've sold hundreds of homes this way.
So what does that mean for sellers?
Sean, ignore the fake news. This is an incredible opportunity for sellers. Supply has plummeted. Demand has skyrocketed. People still have to move. We have thousands of motivated buyers ready to buy. We eliminate the tire kickers, conduct the virtual showing safely, quickly, and conveniently to sell their homes.
All right, thanks so much. Look, talk to the agent that I trust for the best advice. Call Team Lally now at 799-9596. Online at 808-guaranteedsale.com.
Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. I'm Adrian.
And I'm Attilio.
And if you have any questions, just give us a call at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
Our guest today has been doing design and drafting for over 30 years, starting with electromechanical design and drafting on the East Coast. She made the move to Hawaii and has provided design and drafting services to Hawaii customers for over 20 years.
She's a graduate of New York City College of Technology and holds a degree in design and drafting technology. Please welcome back to the show, president and designer at DreamHouse Drafting Inc., Janyce Myrland.
Hi.
Hello, Janyce. Well, welcome back. So we're excited.
Thanks.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. And so you can share with our listeners a little bit about what is happening in the industry, in regards to permitting and maybe some trends that you're really seeing in design.
Okay, so I think you've covered a bunch of things in that question.
Yeah.
Adrian likes those big multiple questions. Like, okay, break it down to one question. If you could only ask one question, what would it be, Adrian?
What's going on with all the permitting changes that we need to be aware of?
Yeah.
Okay, so first and foremost, everybody needs to be aware of the fact that the Department of Planning and Permitting has decided, after threatening forever, that things will only be acceptable if submitted via e-plans. So in other words, no more walking into the building department with multiple copies of 24 by 36 inch plan sets, that are however many pages per set. It is now all needing to be uploaded digitally. That's all documents that would accompany a building permit application, as well as the drawings themselves.
So, Janyce, was this done as a result to be more efficient, or was this because of a COVID regulation, or both?
See that? Multiple questions. There she goes again.
Well, she's a thinking woman. Thinking people have questions. Here's the thing. E-plans has been around since, I guess, around 2013, 2014-ish, somewhere thereabout. It has always been a desire to have an ability to have everything digitized and to have a more efficient way of doing things. Personally, I gave the system, when it was introduced, 6 or 7 months to be up and running before I created my own account and started submitting plans in that way. Mm-hmm. I also attended a class that they offered where they were explaining, how to work the system, although I had personally experimented and fallen into different pitfalls from the get-go. At the class that I took, which was somewhere around 2015 or 2014, I'm not exactly recalling, DPP was very specific that it was their intent to have everything submitted via e-plans in the future, that was always the intended purpose. However, here we are, 2022, and it is only as of January 1st of this year that they actually have supposedly solidly put their foot down on that issue. I personally have been submitting everything via e-plans all this time, so I couldn't really tell you, but I do know that the clerks tell me that, they are still wading through tons of paper plans because people have been submitting things as paper submissions up until the answer was no.
Yeah, and so I think, digital plan is not going to have COVID sneezed all over it because it's coming through the computer, and the only virus you probably might get is maybe a computer virus, but you ain't getting COVID-19. So it's good that happened. There's always an upside because we're not wasting paper. Yeah.
And then also it sounds like you kind of got a head
You're a bit
start.
up to speed already.
You got a head start on this. You got the training. You've been practicing it, so it's no big deal for you and your firm to be submitting things now in this digital way.
Let's talk about this third party that you are. You're the third party that can help the people out there in the world. Because I don't know if unless you're down on a regular basis, doing it for the first time, dealing with DPP, can it be pretty exciting, fun-filled, like get a love boat?
No.
Yes. There's no.
I've met people who refuse to ever go there again after trying to do it on their own.
They've been traumatized.
Let me say one thing. Traumatized is a perfect word. Let me say one thing. Please note that the rule has been that all brand new homes were supposed to be digital submissions for quite a number of years now. But somehow or other, apparently some people were still getting them in on paper. So that was also a problem. There were rules that were not being followed, and certain people were managing to get them not to be followed. And it's been almost a year since the announcement of some indictments that went down in CPP.
Yeah.
And getting rid of paper plans is one of the ways that I think that they're planning on.
You know why? Because between
those issues,
between the pieces of paper, you can put $100 bills. That's why. Cannot do that.
Oh, they were putting plenty in there between the pieces of paper.
You're like, you're gonna find what you need between page 7 and 8, and then to put my plan to expedite my plans, and so all that got shut down, and they got tired of scooping up horse poop. Because the people with the paper plans, they were showing up with covered wagons with horses pulling them and saying, hear ye, would you like to review ye plans? Come on,
so
folks.
Wait a minute, you've been there?
No.
I've never seen you there. Oh, okay.
I don't need to be there. I got Janyce.
That's right.
I got Janyce. I'm not going to never go down
He
there.
doesn't want to be traumatized.
I go to therapy for other issues. I don't need more issues.
COVID stopped us from having to sit in long lines.
Yeah.
Whether it was to pay for a permit that was already approved and ready to issue, or for getting them, submitted into the system, because then it became a drop-off only. And for those of us who were already doing the digital e-plans, we did our normal submission. But I would tell you that sitting in those lines in the past for various reasons, based on, having to pay for a permit or whatever, you get to observe quite an assortment of characters doing quite an array of strange things. So I haven't really seen the horse and carriage, but I have seen people coming in with things on notebook paper. Didn't look like they used any type of a straight edge, and they're putting this before the 4 clerk who has to try to make sense out of it, and then it's fussing at them about you need this and you need that. And there's a certain group I will not name who were guilty of this repeatedly. Yeah. And I was like, they got to know better. How many times does the clerk have to fuss at them at the same time? Then you see other people, like, there was this
those are the people with 12 items in the 10-item express lane at Safeway, and then they're going to write one check. So, and they're in front of you in the line.
Yeah.
So, Janyce, you must miss all of this interesting people watching that you got.
They got some pokey
it's like
stuff.
entertainment.
Really.
No, you don't miss it.
Well, sometimes. But, time is money in business. Right. So while it might be entertaining anecdotally later, while you're there waiting, or you've got, if you're downtown at the Fosse building, where if your meter runs out, it's like $40 for the ticket, not so music.
They're like,
so it's better
meter,
all around.
The meter people, they're like, oh, I saw him going into DPP. We're going to get this one. We give them a ticket. They ain't coming out of there at least for 3 days. And I know they don't have enough quarters, so we're going to get one ticket for them. We're hearing that there's a lot of delays because of just the real estate is just going nuts. If you're going down there to get a permit approved or going through the process, we looking at longer timelines?
Well, yes, we are.
Okay.
And at this particular point in time, I mean, a year ago, they lost some examiners and they were training new ones. Last year, they also started training more people to do pre-screen, which is the first portion of what your project goes through when it's submitted for e-plans. But pre-screen has exploded.
Yeah.
I mean, just the timeline. Pre-screen always used to take, I would submit a project and it would be through pre-screen in less than a week. Not anymore. I'm seeing 3 months, 4 months.
Wow.
It's unreal. And I'm asking them, why, if I see anybody that I know who's a clerk at DPP and they're saying, well, they're bogged down. And in addition to, I'm sure COVID may play, with surges and cases and who's working at home and whatever, it may play a part into it also. But they're saying that I have been told specifically that at this point in time where everybody's forced to use it, that the people who are not accustomed to how it works are kind of, causing extra work, and they have to send things back to them for them to redo it.
So Janyce, is there
city application number must be generated, then the project is given back to the reviewer who does their review, and they stamp it as complete. And then it has to be logged back into the system because the city is going to collect the money for the permit fee and hand out the building permit and the drawing stamped as final job site copy. The third-party reviewer does not do that. So they do have to interface in that system, and I don't know how they're being impacted by this backlog, but I got a project approved that's having passed pre-screen, which means now it goes to a real examiner, and it had an August building permit application number. So that's how long it's been sitting waiting.
Wow. You're going to have is this permit, this one was before COVID or after? Or
so expect delays. Yeah, this was before COVID. Well, no, this was after COVID. She said it was in August.
No, I was joking, but I'm like,
I said it
that
was
long?
August.
That's like 2 years
But
already.
we're seeing a lot of delays. However, if you hire a company like Janyce's, they're going to help you to navigate through and expedite things,
And even,
you
you know
could do on your own.
Well, I can't speed them up unless they make some sort of special certification, which I heard from one clerk did tell me at DPP that maybe they should consider doing something like that for the experienced people whose plans routinely go in there and they've been
Let you
using
guys have the
it
express
for years. But there is no such thing.
Well,
So,
here's how I would tell the listeners how you're going to speed it up for them, because you're going to submit it correctly the first time.
That's right.
And it's not going to be like trying to get a passport from Russia. You know, they're like, oh, you must come to this line. Then you get to the head of the line. Sorry, wrong line. Then you go to the other line. Sorry, you're in the correct line. Go back to that line.
Wrong paperwork.
Yeah, so you're not going to get the Russian runaround because Janyce is going to help you submit it correctly the first time.
That's right.
That's how you can save on time.
So Janyce's website is DreamHouseDrafting.com.
Yeah.
And all of her contact information is there, as well as the qualifications and the kind of services that her and her company do provide.
Buyer agents, if you're out there and you need somebody to help you understand the permit, no permit, what's going on with the building, with the home that you have having somebody buy. Janyce, I remember you shared this one time. What's the difference between, ordering a permit package and looking at some paperwork versus you reviewing it with your permit check?
Okay. So permit packages that I've seen traditionally will have building permits and tax office records, prior appraisal, that sort of thing. When I go to a property to do a permit compliance inspection, it will include the building permits, any drawings that the city and county has on files. I also try to include any old tax assessor sketches. And then I provide an on-site inspection that actually compares those plans and permits with the structure that's there to assess what has been permitted, what hasn't been permitted. Because unfortunately, because of the delays at the building department, because there are contractors who are totally licensed who will say to people, oh, you don't want to be bothered with that aggravation of going through the building permit process, and they'll kind of just take your job off the books.
Yeah.
There is an abundance of homes here that have unpermitted updates, alterations, some of which could remain and actually be permitted, others of which, no, that can't happen.
Yeah.
They're just too far.
The jacuzzi in the kitchen next to the toaster oven, not a good idea.
So some of these upgrades, you can do like an after-the-fact permit.
Yeah.
And what would be the purpose of getting these things permitted
after the fact?
Yeah, like what's the benefit to the homeowner to getting the permit?
Well, first of all, technically speaking, a home with unpermitted additions, alterations, or improvements is technically speaking illegal. Nobody wants to hear that, but that is the truth. It is viewed that way by your mortgage lender. who could call the mortgage if they find out about it. In other words, call it as being due within 24 hours. It is also viewed that way by your insurance company because they are not going to want to be paying for the possibility of fire damage caused by the unlicensed person who was playing with the wires, who should have never been allowed to touch anything.
Yeah.
Everyone besides typically the homeowners who allow this to be done on their homes is aware of the fact that when unpermitted construction is done, there is no electrical inspection, no plumbing inspection, no building code inspections.
So the checks and balances are not there. You know, the work could be done well or it could be done like crap, but you don't know. The checks and balances are not there.
Exactly.
Safety.
And it could be beautifully designed. The majority of the ones that I have seen, there's some that I just don't know what people were thinking, but the majority of them were practical. They filled a real need.
Yeah.
But the people also need to understand that the building code is an ever-evolving document.
Yeah.
So the city and county of Honolulu adopted the 2012 International Residential Code as the building code here, with modifications that match what go on here in Hawaii. All right, that's 2012. There's much more recent codes, and they will update as time goes by. But for your typical older single-wall construction home here, you know, they're not going to make you go and update your home to meet the code that's currently adopted by the jurisdiction. But if you go and make any alterations, those must meet the current code. And so if the person doing your work
Janyce,
is not a license.
So our listeners, we're going to be ending the show here in like about 30 seconds. So the bottom line is, our listeners, they need to go to DreamHouseDrafting.com and get a hold of Janyce because she's got the answer. She has the solutions for all things designing, permits. Just give her a call.
All righty.
Thank you, Janyce.
Thanks, Janyce.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. And thank you to our sponsors.
Jody and Derek, Pacific Rim Mortgage.
Bradley Mariama of Allstate Insurance.
Benji with Pillar to Post Home Inspection.
John with Kilauea Pest Control.
Duke with Hawaii Pacific Property Management.
Kyle with Impact Wealth Solutions.
Robinson, Fine Line Paintworks.
James with Kaji Cleaning.
Cassidy with American Floor and Home.
Jake with Sky to Construction Roofing and Solar.
And Ryan with Zero West Hawaii. If you want to get a hold of any of our sponsors, just go to teamlally.com.
We also want to give a big thank you to Leah Rodriguez, our producer here in the studio. Make sure to tune in next week. We'll have an awesome guest talking about something that'll change your life
forever. This is the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the guaranteed
sold program. If we can't sell your home at agreed upon price and or time frame, we'll have it bought for cash.
Thanks and aloha.
The preceding program was sponsored by Team Lally.